beautiful Delilah. I got the computer up because I've been working on legal paperwork all day. It's the one thing I hate, and it's like it's not getting done fast enough. It's a lot of research. It's like going back to the drawing board a third time from scratch and having to prepare your legal arguments. It kind of just really, really sucks. But that's okay. We'll get through this just like we get through everything. We kind of have some breaking news related to the Sebastian Rogers case, kind of, sort of. It's related to some information that has been going on in the case. You know what, it just dawned on me. I don't think I went and fixed my, wait just a second. We don't want the crazies in here. Just give me a second. I forgot to do something. Oops, did I do that? I sure did. Thank goodness for the handy dandy settings. Hey guys, it's nice to see you. Jenny, Dawn, Stephanie. Oh, MJ, it's nice to see you, my love. I hope you're doing great. Debbie, Deanna, DNA, it's nice to see you. Nanette, Monica, Graham, Southern Grammy, Maddie, Dawn, it's nice to see you, my love. Karen, hey. Monica, MS Seeker, it's nice to see you. Have Daylight, oh, I like that. Meredith, Darlene, Metalass, nice to see you. It's supposed to be like Metalass. I'm just asking. I'm trying over here. Give me just a second. I will put it on 20 minutes. I really don't care anymore. Hopefully the animals stay off, but they probably won't. But if it gets too hectic, I got a computer right here that I can easily flip a switch and everybody will just be A-OK. It's nice to see you, Phil. Oh, Robin. Smack Talker, it's nice to see you. Outer Banks. Galactic Shrimp. Oh, some of your names crack me up. Donna, Bobby, just Debbie. It's nice to see you, my love. I hope you're doing well. Brenda, it's nice to see you. I've been drinking on my my Tonys. I just freshly ground some more this morning. And the aroma in the house is nice. It's nice. Widow, it's nice to see you. Jackie, it's nice to see you. Lily, Amy, hello, y'all. It's nice to see you. So we'll get started. Hey, Car Guy, Mr. and Mrs. Car Guy. It's nice to see you. Everybody else, hey, One Sock. Everybody else that I missed, I just kind of scrolled down to the bottom. I have to be honest with you. When we start getting over 100 people in here, it's just easier to do that. Red Road, it's nice to see you. I hope everybody's doing well. So before we get started, I got some crazy news to tell you. I do like all this research, and there was a story that was just up. Oh, hold on one second. Oh, wow. Give me just a second. Okay. Sorry about that. I had to fix something real quick. So, this is a really messed up, what the heck's going on? Messed up story. This is coming out of Rochester, New York. This was updated just recently. It's from a prior case that happened, but holy smokes, like the details of this are like really, really bizarre and really, really creepy. And the only reason I'm bringing it up is because it involves kids, right? And our parents out there, and all of you guys have, hey, Elizabeth, Rebecca, Carol, it's nice to see you. I hope everybody's doing well. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button on your way in. And this is a parolee that was convicted of murder, is now going back to prison because after he was released somewhere in October of last year, he broke into 2 homes, had his pants unzipped, and was sitting next to children. So he's going back to jail. They're hoping that this, I don't want to go into too many details because I know it's a little finicky when we start talking about this. His name's Laurice Howard, 51 years old, convicted Thursday of burglary and sexually motivated felony and criminal trespass for breaking into Scranton Street home where 2 young children were sleeping October 26, 2023. The children's mother woke up and found him wearing unzipped pants and laying on the couch next to her 8-year-old kid. According to prosecutors. That's some scary stuff that's some scary stuff. And of course, our news cycle doesn't end there. I know we've kind of got away with some of the new stuff. I was going to go with StreamYard. I could have done StreamYard, but I had already had it all set up on the phone. And I'm like, you know, you can't, once it's set up, you can't flip from one to the other. So we're just going to roll through this. I'm going to start using StreamYard again. I mean, I'm paying like $49 a month for it. So I better start using it, right? I haven't used it in months. Teen accused. This is another one that caught my attention. Teen accused of fatally stabbing his mother 1 year after he allegedly shot and killed his dad. Now, this kid, you know, I don't want to pass judgment or anything like that, but, you know, seems like he might have had some problems in school, which is where we find out a lot of these things come from, right? You know, these are children that aren't being treated very fairly, and bullying has to stop, and needs to stop with the parents first, right? I don't know if that's the case. This is in Auburn, Florida. He's 17 years old, who was charged with allegedly killing his father last year in Oklahoma, is now accused of fatally stabbing his mother in the neck during an argument and claiming she fell on the knife. According to Grady Judd, on Saturday, September 8th, Colin Griffith called the sheriff's office and said his mother had a very long fight and fell on a knife, and she's bleeding from the neck. Dispatchers gave instructions on how to provide life-saving techniques while deputies and first responders made their way back to the residence. When deputies arrived, Griffith reportedly met them outside and appeared calm, cool, and collected, and not upset. That is kind of a telltale sign of, you know, things that aren't right, okay? We see it in a lot of our cases. We're going to be getting to one of those cases, one such case here in just a little bit. They don't act right for the situation. The teen reportedly had blood on his body. Judd said deputies discovered a 12-inch knife and with an 8-inch blade. Griffith reportedly kept saying his mother fell on the knife. The medical examiner conducted an autopsy the next month and determined there was no reasonable or plausible way the victim, Catherine Griffith, died that way. So unalived his mom, or unalived his dad in one state, unalived his mom here in Florida. And, you know, this one's going to get your blood boiling just a little bit. I'm going to try to go through these as quickly as possible so we can get to the topic of discussion. And this is a chilling 911 call after teen fatally stabs her foster mother. Sabrina Zunick, I can't ever pronounce the name, tells authorities that her foster father manipulated and pressured her into killing her foster mother so they could be together.
Overnight hours in this Willoughby Hills, Ohio home, social worker Lisa Knafel is sleeping in her bedroom. Her husband Kevin is away at work. When suddenly, violent screams wake their teen daughter Megan.
911, what's your emergency?
17-year-old foster daughter Sabrina Zunic is on top of Lisa in a violent rage, stabbing the woman who gave her a new home.
What is going on? What is going on? What is going on? Hello?
Responding officers arrived to find Sabrina covered in blood.
She came out of the bedroom when she had both hands raised in the air, and she had a very large bread knife in her right hand.
The loving foster mother she'd been living with for less than 2 years lay lifeless on the floor, covered in knife wounds.
I could see Lisa's body laying along the wall, in between the bed and the wall.
A scene so gruesome, it stunned this veteran cop.
I've been an officer for 23 years now, and I've never seen anything that bloody before.
And this young teen, with her hands covered in bandages, claims she can't remember a thing.
What's your thoughts on how Lisa is not alive now? What?
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's all I got to say about that, you know. People think that the foster care system's a great system, and in many cases there are a lot of loving parents. Hey, Cheeky Chops, nice to see you. There are a lot of loving parents and foster families out there that really want to do the right thing. But, you know, with the teenagers, it can be a little tricky. I don't really know what to say about that because I don't want to. There's so many good foster families, but there are some that are horrible. Okay, we had one lady that we covered that was literally getting foster children to have unpaid labor, making them work on her farm. It was horrific in the conditions that they were living in. So we do hear about this, but this is a situation where it sounds like the stepfather or the foster father was having some type of relationship with the foster child. And according to these reports or the information from this foster child, he talked her into unaliving his wife. Sick stuff goes on here, out here in the real world. It's just, I don't get it. Another case we're going to know, we're almost getting through this, and then we're going to get, I think I got 2 other things, and then we're going to get on to the information that we have related to Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. This is related to JonBenet Ramsey. JonBenet Ramsey was a case that many of us, if you're old enough, remember happening. And we remember law enforcement, Boulder, Colorado, really just focusing on the parents. They weren't really, they were so, they were so hell-bent on the parents, sorry, Delilah's moving around, that did they miss critical evidence in the JonBenet Ramsey case? Hindsight's 2020, and they're still fighting to have some DNA tested. I'm pretty sure they had to take the Boulder, Colorado to court recently, like in the last year, or is in the process of doing that to get the DNA tested. Because we had another officer that actually broke into their home undetected. After like 2 years or maybe a few years after, I can't remember his name. I know we covered it when I covered the JonBenet Ramsey case back in 2023. I believe it was, we did a segment on it. You'll have to go back and look. It was in front of her house. She was in one of her pageant dresses. I did a nice little thumbnail for her, and I'm pretty sure she was in the title of that live. So you can go and search my channel for that. And I'm pretty sure I clipped some of the officers. He did a video of how to break into their house, and he did it from a grate on the outside that let him in, and it took him right to the window where they saw a suitcase there that allowed somebody to go in. Hey Michelle, it's nice to see you. Pale, it's nice to see you as well. So this is kind of an update, and the title of this is JonBenet Ramsey Murder. Did the police focus on her parents, cause them to ignore the evidence? This is going to be about a 5-minute video, but I want to watch it.
We've been overwhelmed by people that have apologized to us for what's been done to us and what's been said about us. We're grateful for that. And I'm sure there's a cadre of people that still think we're horrible, child murdering people.
DNA testing has proven that John Ramsey, nor his deceased wife Patsy, nor son Burke are connected to the murder of JonBenet. They have long been exonerated by forensic science, but the stain of suspicion lingers, and John Ramsey still wants one question answered.
My goal right now is really to get an answer as to who did this for the sake of my family, for my children, their children. This is a cloud that still hangs over our family, and it's not fair, it's not right, but it's there.
Various items have been sent to Cellmark Diagnostics in Maryland for DNA testing. The items were delivered on Tuesday of this week.
John claims that cloud formed in the first days of the murder by the Boulder Police Department.
There were no visible signs of forced entry into the home. It appeared that someone may have known the home well.
And I still believe that that is the case, because there was a note written. Unless his bonus was somehow public information, then somebody they knew is the one that did this. And I'm curious to find out who it is. We had an incident in Panther Ridge where the husband and wife were getting a divorce. Mom was staying in this, you know, a mini estate type of house out in Panther Ridge. And the father couldn't get the mother on the phone and knew that she would be home. They had younger kids. And he goes there and finds one of his children, you know, with their throat, you know, whatever. And he starts calling the police. He's one of the people that like immediately hired an attorney. A lot of focus went on the father at that time. It was back in the 90s, I think late 90s. I want to say like 1996. Come to find out, it was their gardener, and actually somebody that went to school with my mom. And it was a very horrific situation, but I've always applauded the father for getting that law enforcement, or excuse me, the attorney up front, because the suspicion around him was so high and so great that by doing that, they were able to move on much quicker and find out who it was that did this crime. If I recall correctly, his youngest child, I think, did survive her injuries, but I can't be 100%. But it sounds like mom and one of his daughters did lose her life. Again, this is going off memory from 1996 or at least the late 90s. So, you know, you just need to think about stuff like that.
That would indicate to me that there is not just a random act.
They wanted to bring pressure on Patsy and I. We were told by the DA said their case is solely that you didn't act right that morning, and they're going to bring intense pressure on you so that the innocent one will turn the other one in, or one of you will commit suicide and the case will be solved. That was their whole strategy.
And John's personal beef with the Boulder police has hardly mellowed with time.
They didn't know what they're doing, and I never criticized them for that. They were into bicycle.
I mean, this we can get a lot from these older cases, because I feel like we're dealing with some of that in the Sebastian Rogers case, to be honest with you.
Bicycle thefts and parking tickets, and that was their expertise. Homicide? Good Lord, no.
But JonBenet's murder remains an open homicide case, and according to investigative reporter Paula Woodward, the Boulder police have been less than relentless in their pursuit of justice.
My feelings have been frustration at the incompetence and lack of comprehension on why it has continued for almost 28 years. I believe it can be solved with genealogy DNA. If they would simply do that, there could be a resolution to this case.
DNA genealogy technology, an elaborate way of saying websites like 23andMe and MyHeritage.com, which have been crucial in solving many other cold.
We also know that is what helped in the Idaho 4, for those that don't recall. It was genetic testing, you know, it was using the database and doing the family trees that led to Brian Kohberger's arrest. Hey, B. Betty, it's nice to see you, my love. I hope you're doing well, if I can speak.
Cases. Law enforcement can use DNA to zero in on suspects through their family networks, and they can also draw evidence from barely transposable samples, otherwise known as touch DNA.
I can touch this, and my DNA's there now. They can find that with today's technology.
And that is, again, technology that was used in the Brian Kohberger case. Touch DNA. It's what's needed prior to, say, a house cleaning. Just to say, you know, you need forensics when things happen. That's why when you have missing children, it's very important to follow the directives of the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children, which tell you to turn the house or the bedroom, predominantly the bedroom of the child, into a crime scene and get forensics as soon as humanly possible because of things like touch DNA. That can be wiped away. Just FYI.
They didn't have that 30 years ago. My worry is reluctance to retest and just say we don't think technology's advanced far enough, which is absolute nonsense, is because they've lost or misplaced the evidence.
So you guys get the drift of this. The answer for me is yes, I do believe that Boulder, Colorado screwed up this case. I mean, in all fairness, at this time in our history, there were murders going on, but nothing like this that was really infiltrating our country. We hear more about this day and age than we did way back then, you know. We hear now, I mean, even statistics this day and age would not be on the side of the Ramsey family, you know, but there are nuances. And when you have an officer that can, an investigator that can break in the home in the same fashion as this anonymous person, then yes, you know, hold on. Let's see if we can do this. Ramsey. I can find out who it was. I'll have to look for it. We'll bring this conversation up again later as we go through. So I also have 2 p.m., which is in about an hour. We're going to move along with this. 2 p.m. Eastern today, Jennifer Coffindaffer is going to go live on the latest search for Sebastian Rogers, the manhunt in Kentucky, and the FBI role concerning the school shooter Colt Gray, and the latest in the Delphi. So I just thought that would be interesting. I love hearing her commentary on related to Sebastian Rogers and what she thinks about what's going on with everybody being forced silent, you know, through legal proceedings and threats. You know, I'm interested because it's starting to be widely known that this is going on. It didn't just happen to me. It's happened to several different organizations and people. And I believe that the same people are behind all of this. And as soon as law enforcement can, you know, pop their heads out of their butts, maybe we can get some movement going with and reinvigorate the information related to that. There's also been, lastly, there's a couple other things I was going to go over, but I'm going to move along because I see we're almost hitting at my 30-minute mark. There's been an outbreak of threats of school shootings in Florida, and that has resulted in 2 young people being arrested. One is in, I believe, Polk County. I think one is in Polk County somewhere, Seminole. So here it is. Violent threats against school have been reported in districts around Florida, including Seminole, Broward, Duval, Madison, Leon, Taylor, Levy, I can't remember if it's Levy or Levy, Columbia, and Sarasota counties. They missed Manatee County because my sheriff, Rick Wells, just arrested a 15-year-old boy that made threats to multiple schools in this area, and has been ultimately arrested for that in Manatee County. And he basically said it was just a joke. Well, law enforcement is not taking these as jokes. People, young kids, young teenagers are being arrested for these jokes, okay? And they're ruining their future because I'm pretty sure that they're going to be coming out of high school with a felony. That means they'll never be able to own a gun. They'll never be able to register to vote. So we're losing voters. We're losing lawful gun owners, which, you know, in all fairness, if somebody's threatening to shoot up a school, they need to not have one. But if they're truly just doing it for stupidity, you know, and never have an intention of carrying it out, they're ruining their future. So, folks, talk to your children. I know that it sometimes, I mean, we used to, you know, call in bomb threats. I didn't. I wasn't a part of the bomb threats, okay? I promise I've never done it. But I gotta tell you, like when we had like a jamboree or we had something that people didn't want to do, like our tests, our major tests, I think we had like half a year test and a yearly test or something like that. It was always somebody's going to call in a bomb threat. Then the law enforcement has to come out there. We all have to go into the field while they search the entire school. They never ever find anything because really it was some kid that wanted to get out of school or out of the test or out of whatever they were supposed to do. you know, and it wasn't a crime then. Because of it was starting to be a regular event and people were starting to know, people started getting in trouble, and then they started making the bomb threats a crime. Well, obviously, none of our schools around here have exploded, thank God, you know, by the grace of God, but we've had these violent mass events at our schools, and those mass events at our schools have a lot of parents and a lot of people like us that are very concerned about our students at our school, you know? And so this is not okay. This is not okay for anybody to be making these types of threats. And not only that, any child that's making these types of threats in their own district, in their own school, they're disrespecting the families and the victims of other school mass events. Anybody that even jokes about something like that, I truly believe the parents have an obligation to take their child to a counselor or something, okay? Typical kids don't joke about stuff like this, don't have the image or the want to do something like this. That's showing, hearing that come out, even if it's a joke, is showing some type of behavior that does not bode with our society this day and age. And you need to find out why, you know? Don't let it escalate. Don't put your head in the sand when your child is acting out. You never know what's really going on in their life. Think about how much children hold in. When we talked about the Kylie Rodney case, remember how all the kids shut down? They shut their social media off. They wouldn't talk. Kids hold a lot of secrets. So think about it if your child's being abused or harassed or something else, like maybe SA, and you're just unaware. Typically children have a behavioral problem when they can't talk about their problem that they're going through. So this could very well be a bullying incident. This could be very well, you know, some things going on at the house, or maybe that they don't know about going on when the parents aren't home. You know, people need to understand children behave certain ways. Children that are coming from good homes, that have good environments. Now I'm going to say typically, because it, you know, there's a lot of people that come from great homes with great parents that turn out to be, you know, poo-poo. No offense, but, you know, there are people. So I don't want to paint with a broad brush, but typically, a child that comes from a well-functioning home doesn't act in dysfunction, okay? Typically. If there's dysfunction at the home or dysfunction in their life, it has nothing to do with the home. You know, you're going to have a child act out. So just FYI on that. So what is going on? What is the breaking news that we are talking about? I think a lot of people have brought it up on their platforms. Let me see if there's a way I can insert. There it is. You know, there's a lot of people that have been discussing this at length, and I'm trying to find it if I can. Maybe I need to read it. Shoot, I'm always on the wrong freaking phone when I need to look up something. Let's see what we got here. So I've got it pulled up. I'll just read it to you. Maybe I need to download it first. Okay, here it is. This was provided about, well, by the time I read it about 14 hours ago. And this is what we believe as Sebastian's mother's cousin. This, I believe. We'll read what's in this, but I wanted to read it to everybody. I believe Hong grabbed it last night and was reading it. And I've got to say that this is pretty concerning. And I'm sure it took a lot of courage for this person to come forward and say their truth, you know. We always say, you know, if you see something, say something, right? I will be honest with you. This is hard to read, and you can tell it took a little time to craft to make sure that her thoughts were properly addressed in a respectful way. She posted it in your group. Yes, she did. So the Justice for Sebastian Rogers group is a group that I created, not right away in this case. It didn't really get created until I was absolutely in my heart and mind that something had happened to Sebastian. At minimum, something happened to him inside the home. You know, there were CPS allegations. So even if he was a well-bodied, healthy person right now, I still labeled it Justice for Sebastian Rogers because I still feel that we should be getting justice for him for what he had to endure and what CPS called out there for. So, and I explained that when I set the page, the group up. It is a public group. Anybody can go there. We're kind of monitoring people at the moment. We had to do that because of all the lies and stuff that were going on about the group. So we kind of had to rein the reins in a little bit. I didn't want to be like that on a group because at the end of the day, it's for sharing information related to Sebastian Rogers, and I don't really care who's posting as long as it's victim focused. And we had to adjust that just a little bit because of all the stuff. Anyways, let me get on to the email. This will be my last post, and I hope everyone reading this will understand why. Since the beginning, I struggled with the thought that a member of my very own family could ever do something as heinous as getting rid of their child, like every single YouTuber was saying. Then I watched the first interview and became a skeptic. The second interview, I felt sick. The third interview, all doubt was gone, but held hope, maybe an accident. Then she left town saying he could be anywhere by now. Blood relation only holds so much hope and faith, and I couldn't pray this feeling away. Months later, so many lies, YouTube creators flipping the scripts as if they were threatened. No way, I thought. They never went to a single vigil, couldn't find time for searches, lied on Sumner County custody petition, fully cleared by LE, in no danger or threat. She seemed to love her summer with someone else's child, forgetting hers. Now anyone who is steadfast in finding Sebastian Wainwright Rogers is met with threats, fake profile harassment, and legal action. Gag orders, First Amendment rights stripped. Every day I truly feel like I want to apologize, but every day I want to scream at every state and federal representative for the state of Tennessee and ask them, can you not see what is happening in this county? What mother steals her missing child's name out of the mouth of people who want him found? Why is nothing being done about the threats to the people searching? Then I want to ask my extended family, why are you all so quiet? Do you think this is okay? I don't. If you did nothing wrong, prove us wrong. Let people search without fear. Hang flyers without getting the police called on them. And show his name and picture. Stop spending your time and money in court and on lawyers silencing people over lies. Let people help bring him home. Otherwise, tell us what happened. That was a very powerful post. I can tell you that. Very, very powerful in my opinion. It's something that we have not heard from a family member related to either side. And it has something to say. It has to say with the family had doubt, right? The family has had doubt. And now watching all of this unfold, where people are more concerned with a content creator driving and doing their job and using their platform, whether they like how the things are coming out of my mouth or not, it's within my rights to do. And when family sees other family members going through this length for one person, the most critical person, asking all the right questions, it really does paint a picture for everyone to see. a very clear picture for everyone to see, especially in light of no searches. When people asked, well, are you going to be out for the search, and met with law enforcement, told us to stay here. We all have mobile phones. There's no need anybody to stay in a stationary position if you have a mobile phone. You bring the mobile phone. If law enforcement needs you, they get a hold of you. It's pretty simple. But what really got under the craw of the searchers, all the 50, 60, or 100 searchers that were out there searching for Sebastian, was the fact that they were told they couldn't come out because they're not allowed to leave their home. And that very evening, they're out eating dinner and enjoying their time away from home, but not searching for their son. After media lost their, and it was media, I don't know if it was social media at this point, but I know media was questioning very hard, why aren't you searching? Then we come across to the camper and getting that loaded up. By 2 o'clock the very next day, they split out of town. They split out of town, both of them. And people just started scratching their head. Now we fast forward to the vigil. This is where we saw pictures of the father, Seth Rogers, and the stepfather at a truck, and it appeared that the stepfather was leaning in. I had an opportunity to ask Seth about that, many months ago, and I thought, because the way the picture looked, that it looked like he was screaming at him. And while it was a little debated, it wasn't a hot debate from my understanding, if I've got the information right. But that same day was the vigil that the award was given to Seth Rogers, and the same day that somebody inside a motorcycle shop takes a picture of the mom and the stepfather looking at motorcycles while they're having a vigil for a missing child, their missing child. It seemed off. These things are factual information. You can't make it up. This is not stuff that makes people feel warm and cozy inside. It seems out of sorts. And now we have family members saying that they've had enough. They can't do this anymore. They need to open up. They need to get this off their chest. They need people to hear and see what's going on. Thank you, Betty, for being Sebastian's voice and your dedication to find Sebastian. Aw, thank you, from Washington State. Much love, Feisty Mama. Much love. I've been accused of being that myself. Just saying. I might have to borrow your name. I might have to borrow your name. One Hot Mama. Maybe Bullhorn Betty needs to change her name to One Hot Mama. Who knows? Who knows? And not in the hot, not in the hot mama. In the I'm hot. It's nice. It's nice. Court crime couch. It's nice to see you, my love. Me, it's nice to see you. Sebastian's voice will not be silenced. Team Sebastian. Yeah, and so now we're kind of fast forwarding here, and it's like anybody that's asking reasonable questions are now being silenced. And it's a concern for me. We have to look back, because let's face it, VA's up in the house. Hey, VA, hey, Chaos. I know Chaos is lurking somewhere. Is he? There needs to be more people like you, Betty, to be every child's voice. It breaks my heart for Sebastian. It does. It does. I didn't expect to deal with all this in this case. We knew it was going to be contentious. None of the other creators, I had been warned by multiple creators, stay away from this case, stay away from this case, stay away from this case. So there was, something behind the scenes where people were already, conspiring to do something. I don't know what it was. I don't know who was involved. Well, we know who a few of them were that were involved, talking about content creators. But we were hearing the brouhaha behind the scenes before, when this case started heating up. And it doesn't matter, because I know that I follow the law. I know I don't step on people's private property. I know when I handle myself all above board. I figured as long as I dot my I's and cross my T's, I should be okay. Well, even doing all that, you guys see what happened. And we have to look at that, because let's be honest, we have a missing child here. We have stories changing, and it's hard for us not to think, just like in any other case, you need to look at the last person that was with that person. That's in every case. It's not unique to this case. Is Turkey Man in the house? It's nice to see you, Turkey Man. I'm trying to get right, which brings me back. I have these here, which I was supposed to start out the day because we need to get back on track. So you guys stick around. We're gonna get some rejuvenation, right? With all this gunk and yuck and everything else out there, we need to have our armor, right? And we got away from it because a lot of stuff was going on. Doesn't make it right, whatever it may be. But I figured today is Friday the 13th. If you guys don't know that, I will tell you the only reason why I realized it was Friday the 13th was because I was in my my mod squad, right? The rumor mill. And I said good morning, and I usually put these gifts, you know, all the way down, a bunch of little, you know, like dogs saying good morning, coffee cup, a big ray of sunshine, you know, something like that in there for them. And I usually do like 4 or 5 of them. And I saw this magnificent one, and I was squinting in. It's like, I can't remember what it said, but it was a Friday the 13th one. And I looked at the date, and I'm like, holy smokes, it's Friday the 13th. If anybody knows anything about Bullhorn Betty, I have only had one broke bone in my entire life, and it was my ankle. And it happened on Friday the 13th. It was the absolute worst Friday the 13th I have ever had. And I believe it was back in 2015, so almost 10 years ago. And I went to work. I was frustrated. Things weren't going well at work. I remember looking at my boss. I told him, I said, I'm leaving. I'm done with my day. I will be back on Monday. Don't call me. Don't talk to me. Don't do anything until Monday. And so I leave work. As soon as I get on the interstate, the whole car's power goes out. Okay, if anybody knows anything, that's the alternator. And so I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, okay, well, call AAA, right? And we know AAA is going to be 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes. So I decided to call a friend. I'm like, oh yeah, we're not too far from there. Just go ahead and wait for us. So I canceled Michelle, thank you for the gifted Bullhorn Betty membership. VA is a new member. VA, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club. But you've already been a part of this crazy family for a little minute. And so I'm waiting there for Nick. Nick is my best friend that ended up passing away. And so we're sitting on the side of the road. I'm waiting for him. I canceled my tow. And he had me waiting there for 4 hours. So finally, he pulls up with the tow straps. We tow strap the car, and I'm sitting there. I remember Vince was driving the car, and when you're on tow straps with no power, you better pump that brake if you don't want to hit the butt end of the car in front of you. So I remember the whole time there, I'm like, pump, 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 pump. Every time we needed to stop, pump the brakes, pump the brake. I'm rooting it from the passenger seat, pump, 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 right? And so we get near my house, which at this time was out by the interstate, and the tow strap breaks in the middle of the tow. Thank God it was just right down the street from the house when it finally gave. But we had to pull in, and I'm like, pump, 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 so we don't run into the gas pumps. So they get out there and they tie whatever's left of the strap up. And so we're easy, you know, going like, I don't know, like 10 or 15 miles. Like we're trying to go easy, like as slow as a freaking V8 can go. My car wasn't a V8. It was the one dragging my car. And so we did make it home. And so I found out it was the alternator, and I needed to call around for an alternator. Okay, we barely had 2 nickels to rub together at this time in our life. And I'm shopping around. I slip on the dog bed and break my ankle. This is all Friday the 13th. Just boom, 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 boom. Nothing good at all happened that day, and I ended up being in the hospital with a broke ankle. So on Friday the 13th, since 2015, I don't leave. Even when I was working, I would call in and tell them I can't come in today. I will not leave my house on Friday the 13th because I have PTSD from that day. And I think it was a curse from Friday the 13th. I'll be honest with you. I thought it was a curse. Anyways, let's read some things, get ourselves right. So this is the language of letting go for all the people in here struggling with codependency of any form, whether it's substances, human beings, gambling, whatever it may be. Recovery is not all tiresome, unrewarded work. There are times of joy and rest, times when comfortability practice what we have learned. There are times of change, times when we struggle to learn something new or overcome a particular problem. These are the times when what we've been practicing in recovery begin to show in our lives. These times of change are intense but purposeful. There are also times when at a deep level we are being reprogrammed. We start letting go of beliefs and behaviors. We may feel frightened or confused during these times. Our old behaviors or patterns may not have worked for us, but they were comfortable and familiar. During these times, we may feel vulnerable, lonely, and needy, like we are on a journey without a roadmap or a flashlight, and we feel as if no one has traveled this ground before. We may not understand what is being worked out in us. We may not know where or if where we are being led. We are being led. We are not alone. Our higher power is working his finest and best, bringing the true change in us. Others have traveled this road too. We will be led to someone who can help us, someone who can provide the markers we need. We are being prepared for receiving as much joy and love as our hearts can hold. Recovery is a healing process. We can trust it even when we don't understand it. We are right where we need to be in the process. We are going through exactly what we need to experience, and where we're going is better than the places we've been. Today, God, help me believe that the changes I'm going through are for the good. Help me believe that the road I'm traveling will lead to a place of light, love, and joy. And before we close out, I want to read the one from today in Ginger Bell sent us, Jesus is calling. Jesus is calling. And it is September 13th, not August 13th. And it was a good one. I read it earlier today. Might as well get right. Here we go. Come to me and rest. Give your mind a break from the habitual judging. You form judgments about this situation, this person, that person, yourself, even the weather, as if judging where your main function in life. But I created you first and foremost to know me and to live in rich communication with me. When you become preoccupied with passing judgment, you assert my role. Relate to me as a creature to creators, sheeps to shepherds, subject to king, clay to potter. Allow me to have my way in your life rather than evaluating my way with you. Accept them thankfully. The intimacy I offer you is not an invitation to act as if you were mere my equal. Worship me as King of Kings while walking hand in hand with me down the path of life. Don't judge. Don't judge or you will be judged. Matthew 7:1. Now this is eternal life, that they may know you, the only true God, and Jesus Christ, whom you have sent. John 17:3. But who are you, O man? I talk back to God. Shall what is formed say to him who has formed it? Why did you make me like this? I'm sorry, it's smaller print down here and I can't read it. Does not the potter have the right to make out the same lump of clay, some pottery for noble purposes and some for common use? Romans 9:20. Which God will bring about in his own time. God the blessed and only ruler, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Timothy 6:15. For those that needed that. I'm still trying to find my smaller language of letting go book. Oh, thank you, Stacy. Jessica Smith, you received your gift from Stacy. Don't forget to tell her thank you for your gift. Thank you, guys. Thank you. We definitely know something isn't right in this story. We definitely know that there was something that happened over the summer that elicited Nina to file something in the court record upon her daughter's return. So this is definitely an issue that has come about. Thank you, Debbie. God bless you. And we are trying to work this. You know, every time we reach out to an ex, we learn something new. I just heard one of the exes was beaten and left in a VA hospital. Just left. So I'm trying to make heads or tails of who we're dealing with here, but every time I turn around, it doesn't sound good. It sounds horrible. And to think that this young man was around that type of person is a little concerning. And then to have paperwork from CPS, this is not looking good. We can't discredit the neighbors and the statements that were said. If you know, him or me, right? Hadn't been home for a whole entire month. I'm hearing rumors that I'll withhold the rumors. I'll withhold the rumors. But it just, something wasn't right. There was definitely something going on. We know what Seth told us when he said he was supposed to take Sebastian after this summer when he got out of school. That was at the direct request of the stepfather. The direct request. He was expecting to have his child before this child just disappeared. It's something to think about. So we have all of this, and now a family member of hers coming out and speaking their truth. And we have innocent people driving around and videotaping the area on public roadway, going to jail. We have another one that hasn't even gone into the community, being silenced because of their commentary on their channel. I'm still in shock that people don't understand they don't have to watch the commentary. They can literally unplug. There's no requirement to watch Bullhorn Betty. There's no requirement to watch Nick the Hat. There's no requirement to watch Clutch the Pearls. There's no requirement. If you don't like the commentary, you don't like their perspective on a particular case, you move on. You don't keep coming back to the same channels and then screaming harassment. That's what you don't get to do. Move on. Very simple. So I don't know where all of this is going to go, but I can tell you it doesn't look good. It stinks to high heaven, doesn't look good, and the only person that is being disadvantaged by all of this is Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. You know why? Is his father being disadvantaged? Yes, his father's being disadvantaged, but his father doesn't care how disadvantaged he is as long as he brings his boy home. He doesn't give a rat's ass what any, excuse my language, sorry. He doesn't give a rat's patootie what kind of stuff he's got to deal with. He doesn't care about what these people think of him. He just wants his boy home. He just wants his boy home. When he sent out the cease and desist letters, they manipulated their audience and made it sound like he just didn't want people talking about him. No, somebody stole the DCS records from his phone and was passing them around, and he needed to protect that so he didn't get in trouble. Because somebody was so foolish to break into his phone and send themselves the documentation. But you didn't hear that. You only heard, oh, well, he doesn't want us talking about his son. He wants everybody talking about his son. Seth wants everybody talking about his son. But what we're hearing is a lot of these creators that are putting his son on thumbnails and not talking about his son. Berating him for trying search efforts, trying to be able to have the ability to look for his son. And every time you turn around, it's always, oh, money, money, money. You could always tell what the number one focus of these channels are just by the way they talk. No reasonable person thinks a father of a missing child is a payday. He doesn't have the resources that other people have to look for their missing children in his family. And if you guys can't understand that, the haters out there can't understand that, then you're too stupid to even be involved in this case to begin with. And if that's insulting, oh well. Cry me a river, build me a bridge, and get the F over it. Just saying. Somebody knows something in that community. And I truly believe teenagers may also know some things in that community. Because the day before he was around teenagers. And those teenagers have parents. And teenagers are ultra nosy, and every time they hear their parents on, they eavesdrop. All I'm saying is, rise above it. Rise above it. If you know something, say something. Somebody knows something. If you saw something, even not in Sumner County, somewhere on the outskirts of Sumner, maybe Robertson, Montgomery, Memphis, pick up the phone. $100,000 is $100,000. In Tennessee, that's a paid-off home. Paid-off home. Hell, you might even be able to buy yourself a Bentley with that money. If brand names and lavish stuff is your forte. You know? I don't know. I just wish, I know somebody knows something. I know several people know something, and I wish they would just come forward and put it on the record. Say what they know. Help this case out. Help Sebastian Rogers out. And for the adults that know this child and have information, come forward. Do the right thing so your children can look up to you. You know? Something's got to give here. Sebastian could have been anybody's kid. What would you be willing to do to get your child home? You got to look at that. We're doing everything we can to bring this child home and bring this child home safely. But with the shenanigans that we're dealing with, it's more indicators that that's not going to be the case. Because who does all this when they have a child missing? It's something we have got to look at. It is a behavior, a horrible, horrible behavior that we don't like seeing in cases such as this. And we're seeing it in this case. And that is leading us down a very grim path. A very grim path. We're at the end of our show, folks. I hope you guys were able to get updated on some much needed information about a variety of cases. You know, we have a lot of crazy going on in this country. And for our children, we need to protect them. If we see something that's out of the ordinary with our children, get them help. Don't think it's going to look badly upon you. Because honestly, I can't think of anything to be more proud of than helping your child in a time of need, right? There's a lot of stuff going on. You know, a lot of people are just confused. And it's not like the social justice warriors that are in our classroom are unconfusing our young folks. It's causing a very, very problematic trait in our young kids this day and age. You know, our children don't seem to be able to handle rejection. You know, I was taught in school, tough titty said the kitty, you know? I was taught that, you know, cry me a river, right? Because in the real world, it's going to be 10 times worse than what I'm dealing with at school. You know, they didn't give us, they didn't, you know, walk on eggshells with us. They didn't try to make us feel comfortable. They tried to make us ready for the real world. And a lot of people aren't prepared for the real world. Why? Because they're told everybody's supposed to be nice to them and care about their feelings. Well, in the real world, you're barely getting treated with an ounce of respect. And trust me, nobody gives a rat's patootie about your feelings or how you feel about anything. And it's a shock for these people. We were treated like in high school, there was no excuses. You know, if you can't do this, it's going to be tougher out in the real world. Sorry, I'm not giving you extra credit. I'm not letting you do this. I'm not letting you do that. You wouldn't be able to do this at work. That's how we were treated. Feisty Mama says, thank you, Betty, for being Sebastian's voice and your dedication to find Sebastian from Washington State. Michelle gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. Stacy gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. Debbie sent some love. And Eve Loves God became the newest member of this crazy crew we call the Coffee Club. So welcome, Eve. It's nice to see you, my love. I hope you're having a great day. We'll be back later this evening. I got a lot of work. You guys know I don't like paperwork, but it's got to get done. It's got to get done. It's only me. So I'm just going to get through it as diligently as possible and try to meet my deadlines that I need to meet. So just pray for me today. Pray for me tomorrow. But we'll be back later tonight to kind of pick up this conversation. Still breaking news. The missing child's mother's family is speaking out and speaking out bigly. So go over there, check it out. Don't attack. Anybody that attacks the family member will be immediately blocked from that group, and you'll be blocked from me personally soon. You'll never be able to be part of any of our groups in the future. So please just be respectful. We need to all learn what it is to be an adult this day and age. And what that means to me is if you don't like something, it's your problem. Remove yourself from the situation. Because when I don't like something, it's my problem, and I remove myself from the situation. Don't be attacking people if you don't want them attacking you. If you don't want them on your channel, don't send them over to other people's channels. If you don't want to stir up crap, quit stirring up crap. If you don't want others stirring up crap, quit stirring up crap. We all have control over our own behavior, and it's time for people to start taking responsibility and accountability for their own poor behavior. Hey, River, it's nice to see you. Hindsight, reality, it's nice to see you guys. If you can, we're going to make a big push. We're going to make a big push to Christmas, okay? Anybody that can, please go get a green light bulb and put it outside of your house if you guys can. Please send it to me. If you guys have a green light that you put up in Sebastian's honor, please send it to me. Make sure that there are no identifiable characteristics of your home, because I'm most likely going to show people on the screen. So make sure that there's no addresses on there, you know. I mean, a house number is one thing. Your name's not going to be shown to people. Just the light. Just the light. So I would really, really love it if we can put green lights up for Sebastian. I need to go out and buy myself a green light because I've got the front door. I've got plenty of security lights around here. So I'm going to take my front door light, which is the nice globe light out there, and I got to twist up a green light in that as well. So I'm going to be doing it as well. I just need to buy a green light. As soon as I have a green light, I will definitely be posting it and showing you guys. So just let's pull together. If nothing more, we can all have beautiful green lights and honor Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Guys, you take care. Have a great day, and God bless.